YouTube Rewind. I'm sure we all know what it is. It was YouTube's former way to end the year off with their most famous creators of the time, the trends that were happening around the world, and some of the most popular videos on YouTube. And it used to be very well loved. And it got to the point where YouTube Rewind just kind of kept missing the mark. And it started getting a lot of hate. And it got to the point where YouTube has now recently unlisted all of the YouTube Rewinds. And then they decided to private all of the YouTube Rewinds. On December 10th, 2025, the news broke that YouTube actually unlisted all of the YouTube Rewind videos, meaning if you don't have a direct link to the video, you can't watch it anymore on YouTube. The weird thing about it is nobody really knew why. YouTube didn't actually announce why they did this. They didn't make any sort of statement about it. And it left people scratching their heads wondering why would YouTube get rid of such an iconic piece of the website. And then it got even worse. On January 8th of 2026, so very recently, YouTube has now made all of their iconic YouTube Rewind videos private. They were previously unlisted, but still viewable in December. So now, unless you are literally logged into the YouTube official account, you cannot see any of the YouTube Rewind videos anymore. Now, obviously, it's the internet and people have archived them. That's how I'm able to show you scenes from a YouTube Rewind right now. This one is YouTube Rewind 2016. But yeah, a lot of people were wondering why. Well, I believe we've actually cracked the code on why YouTube has done this. And it actually has to do with a news story involving the former #1 YouTuber in the world that I feel like kind of fell under the radar. So it started off in 2010, and it started off as kind of just YouTube themselves doing a year in review, talking about the most viewed videos on YouTube. They didn't really involve too many YouTubers in it at the time, but then starting in 2012, which is the video that you are seeing right now, they actually did their first official YouTube Rewind where they involved a bunch of YouTubers, creators, as you can see Psy over here, the creator of the song Gangnam Style that took over YouTube. This is when they really started making it a whole community affair where they started involving all of these different YouTubers, the top YouTubers of the time, and people who were making some of the most viral YouTube videos in the time. I'm sure a lot of you guys, especially if you're newer to YouTube, you probably don't even recognize a lot of these people on screen, which is sad because I know all of these people and these guys really shaped the entire foundation of YouTube. And so when did things start going downhill? I mean, this YouTube Rewind, literally everybody loved. It was like one of the best ones. 2013 was great. 2014 was great. It actually started going downhill in 2018. 2018, which is the one that you're seeing right now, was the one that everyone really hated. This was when YouTube started getting a lot more corporate. They started having like certain types of like messaging in the videos that people didn't really like because people come to YouTube, or at least they did at the time, for pure entertainment. They didn't come to YouTube for any type of political thing. They didn't come to YouTube for any type of agenda to get pushed. And regardless of whatever side of the political spectrum that you're on, YouTube Rewind went from being a very fun event to where all the YouTubers just got together, and then it turned into something a little bit more serious. And that's when people really started hating YouTube Rewind. So this is when it really started going downhill. YouTube Rewind 2018 actually became the most disliked video on YouTube for years. I believe it actually took a while for it to get overtaken. And then they only did one YouTube Rewind after that, which is 2019. And the 2019 one was, again, just a compilation. They didn't even really try on this one. And I think it was because they got so much hate from 2018 that they really just thought, you know what, screw it. We're just going to put in some low effort YouTube Rewind because everyone's going to hate on it anyways. And they even mentioned in their YouTube Rewind, you know, how much hate they actually got. And they were like, yeah, you know, let's see what we can do, what you guys like. And we're going to go ahead and make, you know, this compilation. So they didn't even really try. They just showed a bunch of the most liked videos on YouTube, and they didn't even try to do an actual raw effort like how they used to. And it got to the point where everyone was like, you know what, screw this. YouTube doesn't seem to care about us anymore. It's all about companies, corporations, and brands. And so that's how YouTube Rewind eventually died. So in 2020, YouTube did release a statement saying that they will not do a YouTube Rewind because of COVID and how negative COVID is. And so they decided not to do one that year. So Mr. Beast actually did a YouTube Rewind 2020. And a lot of people consider that kind of like the official 2020 YouTube Rewind. But ever since 2019, it's been dead, and YouTube has not made another rewind since. So why did they actually end up enlisting the videos? Why did they actually end up making the videos private? Well, like I said, I believe I do have the answer here, and I feel like it's a news story that a lot of people didn't even really talk about. There's somebody that was featured in these YouTube Rewind videos that might have actually popped up on screen that you guys didn't even notice. A lot of you guys might not even know him, but he was the #1 YouTuber on YouTube for a long time, and he did pioneer the early side of YouTube. I am talking about a YouTuber named Ryan Higa, this guy right over here. So it is really sad that a lot of people right now on YouTube that use this website daily don't know him, because he is arguably the greatest YouTuber of all time. Ryan not only pioneered skit content on YouTube, but just early YouTube content in general. He's one of the first people who actually pushed the boundaries with what you can do with a camera in your own bedroom. So he is somebody who has been a part of YouTube's history for a very long time, and he was for a very long time the most subscribed YouTuber on YouTube. And so he actually made a statement about YouTube Rewind recently, and the time that he made the statement actually lines up directly with when YouTube decided to actually unlist their YouTube Rewinds. Obviously, it's not his fault that YouTube decided to end up unlisting the YouTube Rewinds after what he said, but like I said, it actually does line up pretty well, and I haven't really seen anyone making this correlation. So as I said, Ryan used to be the most subscribed YouTuber on YouTube, and he actually talked about why he stopped doing YouTube Rewind because they actually lied to his face during one of the events. He made this statement on December 8th of 2025, and YouTube actually ended up unlisting all of their YouTube Rewind videos only 2 days later. Could be a coincidence, but I actually think it's directly related. Let's go and see exactly what he had to say.
And they're bringing back YouTube Rewind. Have they still been doing that? I mean, I don't know. I stopped watching that ages ago since I stopped watching it since I didn't have to spoof it anymore. I was a part of the first two. There was another one that I was supposed to be a part of, and I specifically remember leaving mid-shoot because they lied to me, and I never did it ever again, I think. They said I had to, I think they wanted me to dance in one of the shots, and I was like, oh no, that's all right, I don't want to do it if I have to dance. And I was like, you know, it'll be easy. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do it if I have to dance. And they're like, okay, well then just come and shoot this other thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm down to shoot this. And then when I got there, I think I shot my scene, and then they were like, okay, well now it's time for the dance thing, we're gonna need you to do this. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. Like, no, you're in this scene. I was like, no, I'm not in this scene. This is what I talked about. And so literally I changed and called an Uber and left. Yeah, and I literally left mid-shoot. And they were like calling and stuff. I was like, nah, we already talked about this. They're saying, I don't want to put production in that position, but this is not cool. And so I literally just left the shoot. But I never really wanted to do it after that. I was just straight up lied to. And they tried to like convince me once I was there, like it's okay, like just do it, it'll be easy. I was like, nah, I'm good. If it's like something simple, it's like, hey, we didn't have this scene written, can you do this? Sure, I'll do it, right? But when I specifically said I don't want to do something, and that's why I wasn't going to show up in the first place, and then they try to convince me once I'm on set in person, that's scummy. Because like at first they're talking to like managers and agents, right? They go straight to the talent to try and like sneak something by. You can't do that. Like, we're not getting paid to do that, you know? And even if we were getting paid, you have a contract, you get paid for what you agreed upon, not doing extra. Most times I don't mind doing extra if it's not a big deal. Sometimes shoots will be like, hey, this shoot will take you 2 hours, 3 hours. Sometimes it goes 5, and you're like, fuck, they said 2 hours. Liars. But it's okay, because that's shoots go long sometimes. But if you specifically negotiate and say, I'm not doing this thing, and they try to get you to do that thing, that's scummy. And I will never forget that. Although I do forget who it was that we were talking to. Well, that pissed me off because I was already doing it for free. Yeah, so ever since then, I was not a fan of YouTube Rewind. I wasn't in it. It's not because they weren't asking. They were asking every year. But I was like, nah, I'm not doing this anymore.
And keep in mind that he ended up saying this in 2025, and this is way after he stopped participating in YouTube Rewind, but everything he said actually makes sense. As you heard in the video, he mentioned that he was a part of the first official 2 rewinds, which, you know, they had one in 2010 and 2011 technically, but those were just kind of year in review videos. 2012 is the first one where they actually like brought all the YouTubers on to like dance to songs and stuff like that. And he was a part of this one. As you can see over here, there's a scene where he's falling to Earth as an astronaut, and he was in the 2013 one as well. And he said that he participated in the first 2, and he said that he stopped participating after that, which lines up totally with exactly what happened. Here he is in the 2013 one, and like he said, after this, he stopped actually participating in the YouTube Rewinds, because I'm going to assume it was a 2014 one where they asked him to do that dance when he said that he didn't want to do it. So his part of the video was incomplete, and they weren't actually able to put him in the video. And like he said, they've been asking him to do it ever since, but he's been declining because he just felt like he was very disrespected. And he was. I mean, he made a very simple request. I don't want to dance. And they just, for some reason, were trying to force him to do it. So ever since 2014, Ryan stopped being in all the YouTube Rewinds. Now, other theories that I have on why they stopped YouTube Rewind and got rid of it, unlisted it, privated it, and whatever, is just the simple fact that they got so much hate from it, right? It was a time where YouTube seemed like they could really not do anything right, and it seems like it's even worse nowadays. But yeah, YouTube was especially getting a lot of hate for their YouTube Rewinds after 2018, so it probably kind of reminded them of a bygone era where they were like, well, people used to love this shit, and now they don't anymore, so we're just gonna get rid of it. We don't want to get reminded of it. And also, I think that this type of nostalgia does fuel hatred towards YouTube as well, because a lot of times people on YouTube, especially myself, will talk about the good old days on YouTube. I mean, this was 2014. YouTube was doing great at the time, where they were actually listening to us, where they were actually making videos that we all actually liked, and they were actually making decisions that we all actually liked. and then it turned into AI too, which we talk about now. You know, I mean, all of these videos that are being done over here, we didn't have to worry about any of these video shots being fake or AI generated or whatever. I mean, we just knew that it was YouTube actually doing it themselves. And that is the scary part of YouTube and the world in general right now. We don't know what is real and fake anymore. And now that YouTube is going down this direction of AI everything, I think they want us to forget about the time when they used to actually do things on their own and creators used to actually make videos themselves. But yeah, like I said, I mean, we can talk about the timing of this. It seems like lottery level odds. Ryan made this statement on December 8th, 2025, and then YouTube unlisted all their YouTube rewinds on December 10th, only 2 days later. I think they were just tired of being held accountable and getting all the hate that they got. And I even talked about the fact that YouTube Rewind did document the downfall of YouTube, where it started off with wholesome content creators and then turned into corporate BS with AI everything. Until YouTube makes an official statement about it, we don't really know, but I believe that is why YouTube Rewind got taken down. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the situation in the comments. Please leave a like in the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe for more. See ya.